Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of DSS Break. We actually have moved to Tuesday at 2 from Thursdays. So thank you so much for moving your schedule and joining us today. We're here live every other week to talk about data science experiences and best practices with leading data professionals in a 15-minute break. I'm Anna Anisin, CEO and founder of Data Science Salon, and I'm streaming from our headquarters located here in the heart of the design district in Miami. And on today's break, I'm sitting down with Astha Puri, who is a senior data scientist at Twilio. And she has extensive experience in working on customer analytics with companies such as Oracle and Ford. And Astha will tell us a little bit about how machine learning can be used to increase customer satisfaction in the B2B space, which is, a really interesting topic for me personally, because we are definitely deep here in B2B space. So it would be really great to learn how machine learning is really, really impactful in customer satisfaction part of this, because it's so important. Thank you so much for joining us for this break. Astha, it's great to have you.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
And I know that you're really experienced data scientist and specialize in driving actionable insights for customer analytics and also increased customer satisfaction. Can you tell us a little bit more about your background before we dive into all that and how you got into data science?
Yeah, of course. I've been working in the field of data science for 5 years now. And my focus for most of that time has been on customer behavior analysis, customer satisfaction, kind of surfacing a 360-degree view of a customer, if you will, for companies, particularly in the B2B space. I started my career at Ford Motors after completing my engineering. So I always loved maths and statistics. It was when I started working at Ford that I saw firsthand how these tools were being used in real business scenarios to take all these decisions, which were not just my assignments anymore. We were becoming more and more data driven by the day. Decisions that were historically taken by senior execs on gut or experience was no longer the case. Everything literally was being backed by data. So we were very hands on then. And one of the most fascinating projects I worked on was with these sensors that were still in testing phases, but essentially they were installed in the car and they would pick up on things like was there emergency braking or speeding, etc. And of course, I'm talking about 2015, and it feels like we've moved at a very accelerated pace in tech, and things now are so much better and improved. But that is where I started. And after some time at Ford, I decided to pursue master's focused mainly on analytics and data science. So I joined the program at University of Minnesota, and it was the most amazing and life-changing experience. This is where I got to have hands-on experience working with a lot of different companies, so I could understand use cases across the spectrum. After graduation, I joined Oracle and supported their IaaS business. I worked with a lot of interesting problems there. One of the key challenges over there was that the product I was working on was cloud at customer. So these are special customers who cannot use Oracle's public cloud. It could be due to a variety of reasons, maybe data privacy or security concerns, housing in common data centers, or it could be due to legal reasons, because of which data needs to reside and be processed within certain geographical locations only. So think of these as public clouds, but these were being shipped to customers, so they don't have to share anything now. On top of that, we do not get any visibility into customer systems, so they have full privacy. So now we need to ensure that the systems at the customer sites are healthy, they're scaled as needed, we're meeting the SLAs, shipping bug fixes and version upgrades with little to no visibility on what or how the customer is even using it.
Wow.
So not only did we face, these challenges which normally B2Bs face with customer behavioral modeling, but there was also this added element of ensure they're happy, but do it from far off. So that was an adventure. And then I moved to their SaaS business after a while, which is kind of B2B form of a subscription service that you might have. So did a lot of churn and retention modeling there. So that was my journey in like IaaS and SaaS. And now with Twilio, I'm working in CPaaS, which is communication platform as a service. It's very unique and challenging, and I absolutely love it.
Cool. Well, that's an awesome journey. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
And now we could dive into the customer satisfaction piece in the B2B space. So maybe you could tell me a little bit about that. You said that you're working on that and at Twilio. We don't want to give too much away because I know
Yeah.
you're going to be talking about this at our next data science salon in Austin. But let's talk a little bit about it, especially for those people that, are not familiar with this at all.
Yeah, Twilio's focus right now is on building the best customer engagement platform that we've seen. It's a very unique and exciting product in the market right now. And it's one that can help businesses communicate with their customers better, improve return on ad spend, use their data more effectively, improve customer experience and engagement and satisfaction with your platform as a business. So I think my past experience with companies to improve their customer satisfaction puts me in a very unique position here, because now we are building a product to help other businesses do the same. So it's more of like a B2B to C space now. And that's where I'm focused on at Twilio at this point.
Cool. And how are the solutions that you build different from the models used to increase customer satisfaction in the B2C space versus B2B space? Are they the same or is it different? I mean, I would imagine that it would be different, but maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, B2B is an interesting space because the problems you face here are of a very different complexity. Most ML algorithms use different inputs to learn and then predict what the output will be on a very high level. And these inputs are mostly one to one with one customer. So things are like, what actions did a customer take, or what their location, age, gender, and all of these features are. But in B2B, we don't have one-to-one customer mapping, right? Your customer is an entire business entity, which is multiple individuals. So the whole aspect of behavioral modeling changes there right from the data itself. The math in the algorithm and the basics stay pretty similar. But the key aspect that creates differentiation between the two data modelings is this. In B2B, before we even get to the part of choosing the right model or tuning the model for better results, there's a lot of additional data pre-processing
Right.
that you need to make that will make that data ML ready. And by data pre-processing, I'm not talking about just things like, oh, do I have an imbalanced data set? So maybe I should take care of that. Or do I have missing values and outliers? Maybe I should take care of that first to make the data ML ready. All of that is still there, not to say that it's not, but there is a lot more that goes into it depending on the type of business you're in. Specifically in B2B, deals in general have a lot more human intervention when they're made. Um, there's a lot of customization that you would do, which is why a simple, say, clustering algorithm, it'll give you some things, but without context to the business, we can very easily fall into interpretations and recommendations that can be way off. And so that's one of the major challenges. Then there are others, like, say, hypothetically, we start a business and we have five customers to begin with. And the customers here are businesses who onboard with us. And then say we grow to 10, 100, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. We're in growth mode, which is great. But now there are two things. Like we want to monitor. We're in growth. We're enjoying the growth, but we want to monitor retention and churn, because otherwise we could just have a leaky bucket, and we don't want to fall into that trap, because that's just dollars down the drain. That and to take care of that, we need to ensure customer experience and satisfaction, because that is what ultimately leads to retention. And that gets me to my second point, which is a data problem. So say we have 5,000 customers or businesses as customers in this case, and we're doing good, but 5,000 rows is good, not great for an ML model. These algorithms are designed to consume hundreds of thousands of rows, and we have 5,000, which is fine, but how much confidence will you have in your results of the model, especially because, as I mentioned before, in B2B, deals are very customized. And so, more likely than not, these customers will not form very coherent clusters, if you will. So, there are these and many more challenges as you start getting into the weeds of B2B, which need to be taken care of while modeling.
Yeah, no, definitely. It seems like you're working, on solving all of those, and hopefully, you'll get more and more customers, and then you'll have way, way more data to go off. And so the model has a lot more data to feed it. And so I think the next question that I wanted to ask you here is the bonus tip about the article for our community that you read, that you found interesting. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about that. I'm sure you read all kinds of stuff, but maybe something, I don't know if it could be related to, I don't know if it's going to be related to your industry or the B2B or not, but please feel free to share something.
Yeah, as I've been like reading a lot about generative AI because that feels like it's everywhere right now, and over the last few months things have just accelerated. But there was this article I was reading very recently about how generative AI can improve customer experience, because my brain goes to, oh, there's something new, how can I apply it to my job, and relate there. It's co-authored by the SVP of Innovation Strategy at Salesforce, and they talk about all of these new AI technologies that we are seeing now, which are very much, everyone's. I feel like there are two sides to it, where people are like, I don't know if this is actually very useful. You're just asking questions and it's answering you. Versus there are people who are like, oh, this is a great start, and we're gonna head into a very nice direction from here. And then there are people like, oh my gosh, it's gonna take all of our jobs. But this article like puts all of those perspectives really nicely in place and says how this is going to seep into every piece of software in the next 5 years, and how that's going to help us, right? Like with computation powers increasing, we're actually using it to our advantage and solving more complex problems now. So how this will accelerate our work and just seep in everywhere into our work in the next 5 years. So I'll send a link to it. It's pretty cool to read.
No, that sounds very interesting because it is going to do that in the next 5 years,
Yeah.
so there's no way to avoid that. And I think it is definitely a hot topic. So people will appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing. And thank you so much for joining us today, Astha, and for sharing your experience with us. It was a pleasure to have you. And I'm really excited to see your presentation in Austin. Actually, just 2 weeks away. I can't believe it. So,
Yeah.
and we're going to gather the local data science community for 2 days. And also, like you're coming from, you said from Los Angeles, which is really awesome. So we have people coming from all over the place as well. And we're going to be gathering for 2 days, and everything is going to be live streamed. So if you can't make it there in person, please tune in virtually. And we will also share the details with you in the chat. So thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful rest of the week. And thanks again, Astha. I will look forward to meeting you in person
Yeah,
just
I'm
2 weeks from
excited.
now. All right. Bye, guys.